Hello, what's up, chat? All right, last stream for the month. Gonna do a couple more deck reviews, and yeah, we're gonna see how many of these I can knock out before I gotta head out. Yeah, let me patron deck reviews. I'll put a link. Oops, no, that's wrong. I'll put a link in the chat here. If you want to follow along, you can click and see all the decks that have been reviewed. All right, and if you want to get in on stuff like this, it's through the Patreon. All right. You know what? Let's do this one. I haven't seen a Quandrix deck yet. This user says, "Hello, I've got a Quandrix, the Proof Theft deck. I've been brewing it as a wacky control list. Aims to ramp early, utilize theft spells. You think it's fun to control the board, cascade into more ramp spells. I do this until you get enough lands to meld Titania. Sure. Problem is, your win condition doesn't feel completely connected with the theft plan. Well, shouldn't you be stealing your win conditions? Let's take a look. Yeah, what up, Samuel? Okay, so Quandrix the Proof is pretty neat. It has Flying, Trample, Cascade, and it gives you instants and sorceries Cascade. So this is... Sorry, I'm very tired. This is really good with cards like Commandeer, right? As a perfect example right here is you play Commandeer for 0 mana, you Cascade into a, Aether Snatch. The problem is, I don't know how well this plan even works, because let's say I cast Commandeer and I go into an Aether Snatch, that basically counters my Commandeer because I was going to Commandeer the spell anyway, right? It's kind of awkward, but I'm not going to, I guess you can live with that. I'm not going to suggest just, changing the commander or taking apart the deck. It is just a concern I see for this deck where, I don't know. I get you said it was a control deck, but counterspells don't really work with Cascade. So it is kind of eh. There we go. Maybe just a bunch of fat sorceries. Doesn't really feel like a control deck, to be honest. This is just a ramp list. Yeah, what up, Foxhole? And you feel like the theft plan isn't working super well with the rest of it? I think it's the control plan isn't working well with the rest of it. That's my thoughts. Is I feel like you should be more mid-rangey. I think Aether Snatch and Spelljack are the weak cards in the deck. Or maybe they're fine, but it's the weak link in terms of your theme. I would maybe move some of your interaction into value pieces to cascade into. What about Unsubstantiate for counterspell? Yeah, stuff like that could work. Yeah, sure. Unsubstantiate. Playing stuff like this is a good way, because then when you cascade into it, you don't have to counter the spell, you just bounce a thing. Obviously, modal counterspells work like this as well. I'm a big fan of... I'm really surprised you didn't have Mystic Confluence in here. Because when you cascade into it, you can just triple draw. Things like that are really sweet. Or cryptic command. More modal counterspells, I feel like lets you lets your control plan work better with the commander. I would probably cut Talent of the Telepath. This card's funny, but it sucks. I like Azur's Predation, Season of Greeting. Forgot to zoom in. Put a counter. Choose an artifact enchantment. Distill it, right? Draw a card to 3 as a power mon creature. Sure. I kind of need a copy of that. I mean, a lot of your stuff is just going to hit a ramp spell, right? Which I get is the point of the deck. Each opponent may search the library for the 3 basic land cards. Put one of those in the battlefield you control. Huh. Weird. Do a second land. This one, yeah, it casts Harrow. Is there like a backup plan? I mean, not really. There isn't even like a plan, right? Because it's a theft deck. So there's... Dude, Annex is really funny, but this card sucks. There isn't even like a plan, right? It's just a theft deck. So, like, I'm looking at this and like, I get the Cultivator Colossus will be big. I get Lumber will be big. I get Ashaya will be big. But I don't even know what those do for you because they're not part of the theft plan. It's just like big green creatures that you're casting. If you want to lean heavier on the theft, I mean, you should be able to find win cons in someone's deck. Someone should have a creature that can attack. So I'm not really feeling a Shaya in a deck like this that is honestly pretty light on creatures. You know what's another fun theft card? You ever play Subjugate the Hobbits? You gain control of each non-commander, sadly, with mana value 3 or less. It's also a 7-drop. What are you getting with Uvenwald Hydra? Or is it just big? Because if there's like, you're not getting anything specific. It's just like a thing. I don't know. I'm just not like, in this list, I don't think you get enough value out of these creatures. Lumber, at the very least, is like pseudo card advantage because it's like adding lands to your hand. Like, I get what you're saying that, like, when you have extra turn effects, like Beacon of Tomorrow's having, like, a big Ashaya late game will let you, like, close out a game. But if you just want to win with the theft, I think you just cut this other crap, you know? What does Will of the Sultai do? Seinfeld the deck? A deck about nothing. How much removal should you run in an Aristocrats and or combo deck? I don't know. It depends on the rest of the list, you know? You know, that's all going to depend on how many like tutors you have, how much card draw you have, you know, is the removal in the command zone, etc., etc. There's like an infinite number of factors. I know that's not like a useful answer, but it's true. Target player mills 3 cards, return all lands from the weaver to the battlefield tapped. We're not doing that much self mill. Kind of lukewarm. This isn't even a great thing to cascade into. Are you playing a literal Harrow? You're not. What's another utility ramp card? Like an Urban Evolution type thing. Urban Evolution. What's a utility ramp spell? There's like Planar Genesis, but I want something like maybe more impact than that. Like, is there a card that ramps and removes something like a Death Sprout type thing, but in Simic? Can't think of one. No, I can't really think of one here. There's one in Strixhaven, but that's Bounce and Ramp. What card is that? I don't think I recall that card. Summon Fenrir? Series library for basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters an additional counter on it. Draw a card if you control the creature with the base power. Interesting. Let me see if I can find this Strixhaven card that this person's talking about. Oh, Proctor's Gaze. Proctor's Gaze. Return one target not only permanent to its owner's hand, so she'll for basic land permanent on the battlefield tab. Do they already have this in here? They do. And as a group, I select all. Sure. It's not an instant sorcery. You forgot that it needs to cast. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't hate the summon Fenrir, but it's not an instant sorcery. This does cast an instant sorcery, but it doesn't trigger the cascade because it's only from hand. I don't know. Maybe it's just like I feel like you could just play another Explosive Vegetation. All right, I think I want to say these are my swaps. I think you cut some of just like the big dudes, and maybe some of the more jank spells for like more utility counter magic and spells. Because I think you like if this is supposed to be a control deck, you need more control. I think maybe if we're gonna cut a Shy and Uvenwald Hydrate, maybe you go up one more ramp spell, and then you can have more theft cards if you feel like you're not stealing enough. All right. Let's do another one. Okay. Nike says, this is your first deck you've ever made. You've been tinkering with it for a while now. However, it seems to be that it's just not powerful enough to really put up a fight. My game plan is simple. Blink creatures, build experience counters. I can get this done quickly enough, but I find I always get ran over, and removal shuts you down entirely. Looking for suggestions? Okay. What does this card do? Aang Airbending Master. When Aang enters, airbend another target creature. Cool. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white ally for each experience counter you have. What a strange magic card. Because it airbends, so kind of wants to blink things. But then your reward for blinking are tokens, which are things you can't blink. Just, isn't that kind of strange? Anyway. Let's check out this deck. Clone. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. We got Panharmonicon, Sword of Hearth and Home. Now, I will say, Sword of Hearth and Home. We don't have a commander that wields it very well. He's just a 4/4 with no keywords. Pearl Medallion, that makes sense. Conjurer's Closet, Soul Ring, Catcher's Monument, Mirror Mind Crown. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, first time you would create one or more tokens each turn. You may create that many tokens which are copies of the equipped one. Okay. Okay, I'm immediately suspect of the equipment, because equipment already has anti-synergy with blinking, because when you flicker a thing equipped, you have to re-equip it, which is like a whole mana investment. Couple of blink targets, blinky things, blinky blinky, blunky blunky. This all seems above board. What does a Gyat do? Whenever another creature you control becomes target of spell or ability, you may airbend that creature. Sure. Man, I'm so tired. Johnny's welcome. Okay. Man, Slip on the Ring from like one of the worst secret layers of all time. Burst first deck is expensive. That is true. I mean, you know, it's alright. They can ball out on their first deck. It's not a good sword anyway, since it has protection from white. You can no longer blink Aang with any white spells. Yeah, I'm like very dubious of that sword. Why did it choose this art for Reprieve? Oh, Reliquary Tower. Noticing a disturbing lack of the initiative. The initiative is potentially really good here. All right. Okay. All right. All in all, not a bad first deck. Couple of things. Yes. Sword of Hearth and Home. We're getting this thing out of here. One, if you have your commander equipped with it, you can't cloud shift your commander. A lot of people might not fully know that, but protection blocks everyone from targeting it with that color. So then you lose the ability to blink your commander, which in theory you want to be blinking it, because then you get to double your thing. You get to blink two things and then trigger your, a Johnny's Welcome twice. Mirror Mind Crown, a similar issue. It's just like equipment is kind of bad with blinking. Idyllic Tutor. This grabs an enchantment. Other than Smothering Tithe, what are we getting? Anointed Procession? This I'm also dubious of. Other than Aang, are we really making any tokens? Question mark? Yeah, like, that makes no tokens. That doesn't make tokens. That doubles tokens. That kind of makes a token. I don't know. I feel like maybe we need more token generating in the 99 to make cards like that and the Mondrak like relevant. Land tax on the big 2026 feels so bad. I mean, I don't know. Why does it feel bad? Daydream is a 1-mana blink, but sorcery speed. What is Daydream? Daydream. Exile target creature you control returns to the battlefield under its owner's control with a counter, and it has flashback. I mean, honestly, not awful. It is kind of like a two for one, right? Because that's flashback. I don't know if we need more blink effects specifically, but I don't know. Maybe. What about that? Darksteel Splicer. Darksteel Splicer I really like as like a top end kind of finisher. And Darksteel Splicer makes so many good blockers. Because you make 3 indestructible 3/3s. So if you're worried about getting run over, then that can help. If you are going to play land tax and you are in mono white, let me give you a pro tip. Now, normally I wouldn't suggest this because this is a very expensive change to make. But you appeared to be balling out, so I will continue to do so. So one thing you can do is you add all the white fetch lands. There's 4. You can have Marsh Flats, Arid Mesa, Wind Swept Heath, Flooded Strand, and then there's also Prismatic Vista. Obviously, this is like a very expensive thing to add. Why did it? I swear the printing that it picks is like really random. Like, why did it do the promo one? Anyway. You count land tax as a land. You definitely don't count land tax as a land. With Airbending, actually suggest God Eternal Oketra because it does. Oh, that's actually a pretty fun one. I kind of like that. So with the fetch lands and scroll rack and land tax, you actually have like an insane amount of card advantage. And then with the fetch lands, it's like even better. So scroll rack, the way it works is you take any number of cards from your hand, put them on top of your deck, and you draw that many cards effectively. So if you have 3 cards in hand, you're going to take the top 3 cards of your deck, 3 cards in hand, you're going to swap them. With a fetch land, you can shuffle away those cards. So you're not locked to drawing the cards you didn't want later on. You can actually get rid of them. Land tax does the same thing because it shuffles, but it also fills your hand. So then it makes the scroll rack plan even stronger. Again, this is scroll rack's like, $40, and adding all the fetch lands is also going to add to the price of the deck. So, I'm well aware of that, but you could just cut a bunch of planes to fit it in if you wanted. Cut Reliquary Tower. I don't know why we have this in the deck. It's worse than a planes, especially because you're playing a Mary of the Skyverns. Scavenger Grounds / Sand Scout, Thraben Charm to get some Graveyard Hate. Yes, totally. We definitely want some Graveyard Hate. So Scavenger Grounds is a good, easy addition. And then I like Thraben Charm too. Yeah, Thraben Charm is a good add. I think I would want to add more token making, and I think God Eternal and Darksteel Splicer are pretty good for that. I want to make some cuts now. We gotta make a few more cuts here. All right, so Enlightened Tutor and Idyllic Tutor, I'm still wary of. We're gonna have to keep them in the back of my head, but all right. So Silence. This is like a bracket 3 deck, so like, do we care about Silence? It's still good, isn't it? These are probably fine. Ophelia? I think it's in the list. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, it is. It is. I guess tutoring for Caretaker's talent early game is also pretty good, so. A Johnny's Welcome is just kind of like. Feels slightly out of place, but also life gain is like secretly broken in Casual Commander, so. I feel like we maybe want more removal, but we will see what the interaction package is here. Resto Angel? Yeah, okay. Sacrifices will prevent common damage to be dealt this turn. Sure. Oh, you know what you're missing is the classic. You know, you have Soul Warden and I don't know. Anyway, you're missing the classic. What's the Rhino chat? It's the Rhino that skips a combat step. Yeah, what up, Bald Eagle? Parting Gust? Oh, Parting Gust is good. Yeah. I like Parting Gust. Blighted Step, maybe? Maybe? Unless you're designated control deck, you aren't going to be stopping control decks with your silence. I mean, here's the thing about silence is you can just cast it on a player's upkeep. You don't have to be a control deck. Right, you just go like, okay, this person played their commander, they're untapping with it, they're gonna do a big turn. I'm just gonna silence them on their upkeep and skip their turn. And it is pretty strong. It's like a dignitary or Stonehorn Dignitary. Alright, if you're looking for, like, you're like, oh no, I'm being run over, this is a great card to add if you're struggling with getting attacked in combat. Not only is it a fog, it just skips their combat phase, which is crazy. Yes, thank you, Andrew. I don't like Far Traveler if you can't put it in the command zone. Oh, when this or another ally enters the battlefield under control, you may gain life equal to the number of allies you control. Oh, he makes allies. Oh. So you have enough life gain. I think we can cut a Johnny's Welcome. When this enters the battlefield, put a counter on each of any number of target creatures. And a charge counter on each of any number of artifacts. So I guess this lets you put a counter on like each token you make. It's kind of awkward because putting counters on your other things that you want to blink doesn't do anything. I feel like that's worse than something that just does like a static amp. It's kind of just okay. I think if you make enough dudes, you should be able to win with them. Or like you have Elesh Norn or Cathar's Crusade. It's just kind of awkward. Semester's End is good board protection for non-tokens. I don't know how much board protection is needed because we already have Eerie Interlude and the Acrobatics. Is Cloud Shift necessary? I mean, it's probably just worse than Daydream, right? Oh, I guess it's an instant. It's not worse. It's similar. I'm wondering if we need Resto Angel, because we have a lot. Your commander already is a thing you blink that blinks another thing. So I'm like not jazzed about like Resto Angel and Felidar Guardian type effects. Because your commander already is a thing that you blink that does another blink. So I would rather have just like more blink targets or more things to do with it. Get rid of that bot. Okay, I think those are my main changes. Is you have the land stuff here. You just swap some basics out for it. Um, I would add Stonehorn Dignitary for sure if you feel like you're getting run down in combat. This is a really good one to add. I also like the Slicer and God Eternal Catcher because like late game, if you feel like you're getting steamrolled, these will like help out a lot. What about Exalted Sunburn? What? Oh, Sunborn. Oh, this thing. Okay. I don't think we need more token doublers, to be honest. This deck already has like 2. And that might even be too much. But I also like the Darksteel Splicer and the God Eternal because it makes more tokens, so those token doublers are more relevant. You can warp it in, then blink it to keep it for around 3 mana instead. I get it. Like I'm with you on that. It is a good card in blink decks. I think this blink deck doesn't make enough tokens as of the current build. But it is a good card. And then yeah, maybe a little bit more interaction. I really like Thraben Charm here. Otherwise, those are the things I would really cut. Maybe Parting Gust goes in over most other blink spells because it's pretty good. Daydream is still probably better than Cloud Shift, even though it is sorcery speed. I think those are my overall changes. I'll put the Exalted Sunborn here, just so if you decide you need it to see it, but it is pretty sweet. This card's awesome, actually. And man, Edge of Eternities was such a good set. Okay, what time is it? Oh, okay, I have time for some amount more. Probably just a few. I don't know how many more I can get in here. I read Counterbalance, so let's take a look at this. So, Bant Counterbalance. Well, I still haven't decided on a deck that plays Counterbalance. It's such a cool card, but I haven't found a home for it. Let's clone this real quick. What is this username? All right. So if you don't know, Counterbalance is a funny magic card. It is blue. There's the mana cost in the middle. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may flip the top card of your library. If you do, you counter that spell if it has the same mana value as the revealed card. So they cast a 3-drop, you flip the top card. Uh-oh, is that another 3-drop? Then you counter it. Immediately, I'm looking at this. Where is our Soothsaying? Like, we gotta have Soothsaying in there. I really want to one day, chat. I'm gonna build a deck with Counterbalance and Power Balance in the list, and then I'll have both of them in play. It'll be awesome. But yeah, we need Soothsaying because it lets you just pay mana to scry X effectively, which is pretty sweet for Counterbalance. It also lets you shuffle your library if you really need. It's also just 1 mana, so it's really easy to cast. How are we finding this? You said this is a bracket 3 control deck. You're piecing together for the last month. I bought the Counterbalance. You want to enable the bounce by blinking Mystic Sanctuary and with Escape Protocol. Wait, okay, hold up. Wait, we're blinking. This is awesome. We're blinking Mystic Sanctuary with, where's Escape Protocol? This thing, right? Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 1. If you do, and then you blink Uh, exile target artifact or creature you control returns to battlefield. Okay. And then do we blink Felidar Guardian to blink the Mystic Sanctuary? Got it. Okay, sure. Okay, I'm like vaguely with you here. I get it. Counterbalance plus Lantern of Insight is fun. You don't need Lantern of Insight because it doesn't. You don't want Lantern of Insight, right? Because you don't want your opponent to see what's on top. Escape Protocol because the ETB happens immediately, whereas with Astral it doesn't. Right, but Escape Protocol can't flicker the land. I get it. Oh, this is your deck. I see. Yes. Where's Sensei? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking too. Is like Sensei's Divining Top, Scroll Rack. Sadly, these cards are not budget, but they are good with counterbalance. Are you playing Muddle in the Mixture? Muddle. Muddle in the Mixture is sweet. It tutors for counterbalance. It hits Felidar. Right. Is Brainstorm even good in this deck? Not really. It's a one-time effect is the problem with Brainstorm. Is like you want an engine in this deck. You don't want just like to brainstorm one time and be like, whoop, that's all my top deck manipulation. What is the Ozolith for here? For Ishai? Okay, our cycling spells cost 2 less to cast with Fluctuator, right? I'm not seeing that much cycling. And what do we transmute for that is 6? You've been tuning for Plea for Guidance so you can get counterbalance and escape. Sure, that works. I'm seeing the cycling cards. It's very funny. Okay. Plea for Guidance, right. Got it. What about contingency plan? Contingency. Look at the top 5 cards. You put any of them back. But any of them into your grave, the rest on top of any. Yeah, that is just. You're right. It's just Surveil 5. Actually, I think there's a better one. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm like totally blanking on it. It has buyback. Mystic Speculation? That's a sorcery though. Damn. Right, cycles have to be instances and sorceries, otherwise it doesn't work. Right. That makes sense. Okay, Mystic Speculation is a sorcery, which doesn't work. What a weird deck. It's like... it's hard to cut any of these things because you need like the... you need a big enough amount of cards that like cycle to actually make this work. Scry 4, draw 2? I don't know about this one. Well, it's not letting me move it to the maybe board. I can't move it to the maybe board with that. Can I move this to the maybe board? I can. Okay, move this to the sideboard. Move it to the maybe board after that. It's back. How did that happen? What? What is going on? This card is unmovable. All right, cool. I think you should cut Tamiyo's Epiphany. Maybe cutting the creature ramp and Eldritch Evolution toolbox stuff. Maybe. You recently scrapped all your decks and you're rebuilding while listening to the podcast. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, what up, Gecko? Yeah, maybe we do cut like the Eldritch Evolution. It does feel a little weird with the... I can't add things to the maybe board. What is happening? Am I missing something? Is there like a freaking setting that I don't have? Is there a reason there's no maybe board? Am I missing something? Livestream's blessing seems a bit like, I don't know, a bit gambly in the sense that you're like, you need your commander to be big, otherwise it just isn't gonna work. Is this... I don't know. Okay, let's try it again. The maybe board category is in the deck? What does that even mean? What? Categories. Oh, what? How? What? Okay, there we go. What? Cool. Thank you. All right. I didn't even know you could do that. Library of Lang, being able to discard the top of your deck is really strong with the cycling spells. So Library of Lang is pretty fun here. Yeah. So Library of Lang, when you cycle the card, you can just cycle it directly to the top. You don't even have to do this whole like blinking shenanigan plan to get it to work, because you just cycle it directly to the top. Which is pretty fun. Why do you have these sorcery speed, scry, then draw spells? Because the problem is it doesn't work with counterbalance, because the whole point of counterbalance is to instant speed set up the top of your deck. I don't get what these ones are for. Oh, that's okay, Gecko. I haven't checked it out yet. You could low-key library plus counterbalance. I honestly, it's kind of sweet though, right? Like library plus counterbalance and the cycling spells, it's kind of dope. Oh my goodness, wait. Cycling spells, counterbalance, and power balance. Obviously, you can't pay power balance on this. But power balance, right? Because then you get to do both instantly. If you cycle it with Library of Lang directly on top. I'm building that deck. Hold up. Wait. Wait, I should totally build that deck. Oh. I would need to maybe be in Jeskai. I could probably do it in Izzet. Sorry, I got distracted by my own ideas here. But isn't that awesome if you if you cycle and then you do both, we switch to Jeskai? honestly, honestly, I don't know what green does for you here. Green doesn't do anything for you here, right? Like maybe like I know that's not helping too much. All right, this is probably gonna be the last one that I'm doing. Anyway, so let's just like brainstorm this for a second here. I might try this in Izzet colors, but if we're just in Jeskai, there's already Jeskai like cycling commanders, right? Well, you get like this goober. It's for each turn too. That's so funny. That's really funny. What if you went? It's just convenient for tutoring. I mean, yeah, that's true. But your best tutors are in white anyway. Like the green isn't tutoring that much for you. I think you could actually go Jeskai. Have I helped you with this deck at all? I feel like I'm still questioning the Oslo. I don't know how. Like I get it's funny with Ishai or whatever, but it doesn't do anything else with the rest of your deck. So I'm not really like impressed with it. If you're in Jeskai, you can play Wild Research. Oh, so true, bestie. So true. You do get Wild Research, and Wild Research Library of Lang is like the funniest thing with Counterbalance and Power Balance. You had a Malcolm Akiri list? Malcolm Akiri. Where's Malcolm. Oh, Malcolm and Akiri partners. I'm stupid. I'm thinking it's like a team up card. Yeah. You'll switch to Power Balance, Counterbalance will be back next month. Okay, yeah. Maybe we're okay. You should build this, because if you don't build this, I'm gonna build this. And definitely going Counterbalance, Power Balance, Library of Lang, and cycling spells is really funny. That's so funny. They cast a 4-drop and you cycle Hieroglyphic Illumination, flip it, counter it, flip it, cast Hieroglyphic Illumination to draw 2 cards. Oh my goodness, that's grody. That's so grody. That's so good. Malcolm Akiri was the treasure aggro deck you reviewed in like March. Yeah, okay, yeah. Vile Smasher Crom for Grixis version? Just shoot people for big damage every turn? Losing white means it's hard to find the enchantments you need. Because like immediately my thought was like, oh, I could build this in Izzet with Keranos, but it's actually quite hard to assemble the pieces in Izzet. So you want to do a creature-based one with a Rectomb Mystic? Wait, that's awesome. Yeah, because this gives all your creatures cycling. That is fun. Oh, you also just get the black tutors and Grixis. That's true, actually. Yeah, Grixis isn't too bad. Are there even enough cycling spells? Because I actually do kind of want to do this in Izzet colors, but how many cycling cards are even in? This is 151. I guess some of them maybe not legal. I guess there's enough, but like, are there enough like reasonable, not booty ones? Why don't you draw the card? Why don't you draw the card you put on top with Library Lang because of cycling? Um, I don't know. Would you, or would you discard a card, draw a card? I guess the discard is part of the cost. Oh, do you just draw it? Hmm. Oh, I guess maybe you draw your own cycling spell. Oh no. Wait, this cool idea is falling apart all of a sudden. Oh dang. Okay, wait, maybe the library doesn't work then. Cause yeah, I'm looking at the Oracle text here. It's discard a card colon, which means this part has to happen first. Then this effect happens. Which means if you put this on top, this effect happens immediately. So library doesn't work. No. Okay. Damn. Uh, I mean, like, I guess it's still a maybe, but like, damn. I guess library would work if you're just discarding in other ways, but not with cycling. All right, so we have to do this. We have to continue with your normal game plan. Honestly, like I feel like um I feel like I want to add some more card draw, but like not this card draw. Trash and garbage are positive for the stream, but booty definitely isn't. Uh, rule zero it. You'd have to. That's a tough rule zero. I like Bring to Light in a 3-color deck. That's very funny because you're just looking for counterbalance. Um. Okay. I think this is maybe a cut. What does Bilbo's ring do again? Get rid of this. Let's add 2 more card draw spells. What's 2 good card draw spells in the green? Well, one that I see you're missing is the Disciple of Freyles, which that you just replace like a forest or whatever. This card is so good, especially when you have a 6-drop in the command zone and potentially a 10/10 in the command zone. But other good card draw. You play Into the Story. I've been kind of just liking that card as of late. It also works well with your commander. The library is still good, especially if you want to reuse cycling effects like Nimble Obstructionist. And its effect is optional, so yeah, but then it's like a dead card unless you want to exactly reuse it. I suppose it is funny. It is funny with LOL, right? Because you cycle LOL, draw it. No, but then if you cast it, it doesn't. Yeah, no. If you want to reuse, it has to be exactly Nimble Obstructionist, right? Because it cycles and then does an effect. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of sucks. Then keep the Ozolith. It lit. I don't know. It's just like if you like the Ozolith, you keep it. I'm just saying, it always feels bad to like to have a card that just only does stuff with your commander and then does not function because it's only this commander, and if this commander dies like twice, you're just not recasting it. Days lets you reset the Mystic Sanctuary. Is that why it's on the list? I assume so. Fabricate? Getting Fluctuator is nice, but outside of that, I think it's just too mana intensive. Okay, I feel like this is a reasonable set of changes. That Sheep Detective movie was shockingly good. I think I started watching it. I was in the theater with some friends. There was no one else there. And we started watching it. It was like 10 minutes in, and they were like, "You want to watch In the Gray instead?" And then we watched In the Gray, which also was actually pretty good. The trailers made that movie look really bad. I thought it was going to be like a 2 out of 10, but it was like a 6. Kodama does ramp. You're right. Angosaurus Rex? Angosaurus? What? What does Yuna's decision do? Sacrifice creature, draw card. Creature card from your return one target permanent from your interesting. Oh, do we need trade routes in here? Trade. This also lets you reset your Mystic Sanctuary, not at instant speed though. So I don't know, maybe it's a maybe. Web Strike Elite. See, this is something you could kind of loop with like the Library of Lang. It doesn't. You don't want too many creature one cycling ones because it doesn't work with the Mystic Sanctuary plan. But it's not a bad card. Angosaurus. I can't read Agon. This thing. What is this? It's not an instant sorcery, you know. I mean, Angosaurus, it's like cool, I guess, but I don't know. It doesn't do anything for your theme, which is already really jank, so I feel like you kind of need to hone in on it. All right, I think that's gonna be it for me for today. I know I didn't get to too many deck reviews this month. Been crazy busy with the travel and such. I'll open up the new thread in the Discord pretty soon, and then yeah, people can post there. If you want to get your deck reviewed, go to the Patreon, check it out. If you want to check out the Discord in general, that's also on the Patreon. Thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks to all of the support from you guys. I'm probably going to head off. It doesn't have to be an instant or sorcery because it can be any instant or sorcery. As long as you just have cards to cycle. This is true, but the fact that they do double duty is better, correct? Right? All right. Anyway, I will be